Hello, everybody. This is Professor Polter here with Pocket Jacks Comics, and I'm joined by 5 icons that you will see off to the right side of the screen. We have patriarchal ape, half of the SWC brothers. We have Vicky, the voice.
Hello.
We have Zombie Nalikon coming at us from down under, and Dean of DA Talks, who would like you to go subscribe. So.
Hell yeah.
And join his Discord.
And join his Discord.
Don't forget the Discord.
Yeah. For that matter, the SWC brothers have a Patreon that they'd love you to know all about. I don't think that, Vic, if you go to Vicky's Twitter profile, you can get a was blocked by Ethan Van Sciver coffee mug, which is always pretty cool.
In a trebuchet font, by the way. Yes.
Meanwhile, I have a little project you may have heard of called White Lily 5, which is less than $500 away from hitting its goal on Kickstarter right now. You can go down and click the link in the description. And what I really like, and I'm hoping this becomes a trend, is that other creators are getting on like the $500 tier where they get 100 copies of their own cover for them to sell. So I think that's a cool way for people to kind of invest and share your ideas with their audience, which the whole shared universe thing, I've really been exploring the idea of cooperating and repurposing, because when you're not a big monolithic corporation with just a whole bunch of drones to sit out and pipe out Batman or something, I think you have to be a little more creative. And so I'm trying to come up with incentives for other people to take my ideas and run with them. But here we are. So this is the clip stream. There's Chris. Oh yes, and also Hero Shack, the second Comicsgates certified book ever out, is currently over on Kickstarter. So you should definitely check that out. But tonight we were going to go over some clips that came up from yesterday on Oz Arts' channel.
I have a couple that weren't on Oz's channel. Well, one that was from Ethan's channel. I pulled it for Dean because it's Tugg.
Great. Let's do it.
Oh, you want that one first? Okay. So a little bit of setup. It's Tugg and eventually Tugg and Sketch. Sketch goes off.
Hold on. Let me just give some stuff here. One, I just came out of Twitter jail for use of the term autistic, which I did not even know that could get you in trouble. Like that was the spiciest word in my tweet, and I got in trouble for that. So with mass flagging and whatnot, and I know Ethan and company and Tugg and all them have been really trigger fingery on filing complaints on videos. So I'm just encouraging everybody to try and keep your language in the more reasonable realm.
Are we allowed to use the F word that doesn't end in T?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sure.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right.
That's okay, man. I give you the F word pass.
That was scary there for a second, because sometimes that one just slips out of my mouth and I can't help it.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay. All right.
It goes.
I stopped myself from using my favorite swear word as much as possible. But
okay. And for those of you out there on Facebook land who are seeing this for the first time, the land of independent comics is full of just insane people. And all I'm doing is kind of documenting some of the interactions that have been going on publicly, out there in YouTube and Twitter in indie comics. So we are apparently going to start off with a comic book creator. I use the term
Can you call him that?
A little loosely.
there's a couple little spots that I added just for color, but mostly it's Tugg just repeating himself. So
he loves to do that.
Yeah. He's kind of Tugg at the moment is trying to maintain some sort of neutrality.
Okay.
Unfortunately, as we have seen over the last few days, that doesn't work for any of them.
Right.
I like when Tugg repeats himself because he's so hard to understand with his phrasing. So the more he says it, the easier it is for me to understand.
I like when he said he was working on the railroad.
All right. So I'm pretty sure I shared the audio on this already.
Okay.
I'm getting better at this. So I may need to, well, probably not. I clipped it up pretty good. So let's see what happens.
This week in Comicsgate Council.
Yeah, this
This week in Comicsgate Council.
Yeah, this stream took place the night before Ethan went on Oz's stream and confronted Pan. So here we go.
That part, the problem is that's again we get into that escalation of stuff, and things escalated to the point that I saw things that I thought, my God, really, really, are we here? You know, really?
I told them abandon the battlefield. It's radioactive. You're just gonna poop your.
I like people that run every side of this fight, but they're you know when I'm saying, dude, this is too far. Come on, guys.
Well, I would say this again. I was stubbornly protective of War Campaign, wanted War Campaign to still be Comicsgate, to be around. I wanted to promote War Campaign, and
can you pause it for a minute
now?
Yeah,
they've managed to piss me off.
I think, see, as a writer, I'm looking at the commonality of the characters here, and I'm thinking, you know, like this should be a bonding moment where Tugg's like, look, I hate to tell people to simmer down, but it's going beyond my ability to even. I can even no more. And by the way, my wife attacks people's dead relatives all the time. And Ethan's like, yeah, I feel you. That was happening with me too. But eventually they started attacking the dead relatives of somebody I actually kind of like. And then it wasn't funny anymore.
I had actually forgotten that Ashley went after me about my mom being passed until it showed up on one of this last week in Comicsgate videos. So so
there you go.
Let's see here. All right, so we'll keep going.
Too. And by the way, it's not Roe that did it. You know, it's not any of the guys that I.
Oh no, he just features it for 2 hours and laughs on it on his show. He doesn't do it. He just shows all the memes for hours and promotes them.
Okay, well, it's not these guys. There's a whole new group of war campaigners that have the wrong idea about what Comicsgate is in their heads.
Now, that whole section is very, very important.
Okay.
Because it's not Roe's fault, people. Even once I swear I'm feeling the fall of Rome coming back at us, where Ethan is looking so hard for some way of bringing Roe back to his bosom.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Even when he was screaming at Pan, which we'll go over in some of my clips, like he's not doing he's doing more the histrionic, and forgive me if I get, but like the thing that I often find myself, if this was a woman I was involved with who was screaming in the way he screamed at Pan, I would go, she still loves me. it wasn't quite to the like there was so much venom in his words. You could tell like Ethan cares.
He does. He does.
Yeah.
He cares deeply
Yeah,
about Roe.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Yeah.
But definitely about Roe, because that's why he took them back in July. Anyway, so here we go.
Everybody loved each other. Like this is what I'm saying. A month ago, everybody liked each other, and there's no reason that things go this far. There is no reason. Again, I have supported a lot of people out there. I've supported War Campaign and many efforts when people have gone after them. And when I'm saying, man, come on.
Many doxing efforts.
There has to be a reset button for shit. We're capitalists out here.
No fucking reset button. There's no fucking reset button. There's no going back.
If you were friends, I kept saying this when things were small. If you were friends weeks ago, then what is so bad that has caused all these problems that you just can't squash this, and they didn't have to get to the point that we're at now. Things could have stopped a long time ago.
Yeah,
and
but
that's no indictment. I'm not throwing that at anybody in there. I'm saying going forward, these things are object lessons.
Object lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole idea that this could have stopped over a month ago. All they had to do was shut up Sketch, who's on the panel.
Yeah.
Right? Because Sketch is actually patient zero of the Anna War. Like, he is the one. He is so simping for Anna, and has been, that when people started criticizing her cover, he lost his mind. And that is what actually started everybody in War Campaign battling it out with everybody over on Ethan, quote unquote, side. So yeah. So
You can avoid this shit really simply.
yeah, it could be avoided, but I think Sketch is right that some people said and did things that you literally can't take back. And there is no walking back from some of the things people did.
Yeah,
I
I'm not saying,
understand you
like,
gotta
after,
find that
I'm
reset
talking,
time.
this went on a month before we got to the point where there was no undoing. It went a month.
by the way, everybody, it was a month. Just want to make sure you're clear on this point, right?
You know what I'm surprised he didn't say is it was a month that this went on. The month where I was shilling my book nonstop. By the way, still on Indiegogo.
Every rational person out there was saying, dude, this is not worth it. Like, again, everybody likes John. Everybody likes Cecil. Everybody, you guys, pointing the other direction. Go after those people over there. Let's have fun. What happened to fun? And no, it's just about burning things.
Well,
Anyway,
yeah, it should be about fun. It should be about happy customers who are, feeling welcome and excited about backing these comic books. About coming to the
So, Bean, how welcome were you feeling? Right? How welcome was I feeling?
Well, notice he said it should be about.
It should be
about these things,
and it never has
is,
been,
but
ever.
It should be. I pay attention to those little qualifier words.
Those are important.
Yeah.
Those are up there with the things that aren't said.
Yeah.
Something as a customer, because as a customer, when War Campaign is going after all these customers, if you're a creator and you're out there, hey, let's give them a chance, let's walk them back, let's help it out, and I'm just a lowly little customer, I don't got 100,000 in fucking sales, I ain't got no comic, I ain't got nothing, and I got these 10-20 motherfuckers coming out there, and here comes this creator, we should all just fucking get along. I'm gonna say fuck you every fucking single time. So if you're a creator, I understand you want to look for that point of reset. It's good. That's great. But don't go after a customer that's fucking pissed at what these allegedly Comicsgate creators are doing and try to tell him to calm down, because that customer's going to say, fuck you every fucking single time.
Yeah. I love the end when Sketch just goes off on Tugg for trying to. Yeah, that's the best part. It really is. Like,
I
fuck
like
you and your reset button, man.
That Berg goes by a very special name, and he goes by the name of Sketch Therapy.
Yes, indeed.
I like how he's arguing with Tugg as if Tugg's like a genuine person with everything that he's saying. It's like, don't get that passionate. Tugg doesn't give a shit about what he's saying right now.
He's arguing with a carny who's just sold him a defective teddy bear as quality control for the trash that he hands across.
No, he's the brand new hockey mask, apparently. $300
Tugg always imagines himself as being above the fray.
He does every day. There was one Tugg line I was amazed he didn't trot out this time, because he did say, "I've platformed," or "I've helped," or "I've supported." This time, I think he said,
gave 5 minutes to people on a show. I did once or twice.
Exactly, and I was waiting for him to go, and they stabbed me in the back. Oh, But
well, he's done a couple of these creator live streams where he lets people come on for like 5 minutes or whatever and pitch their books, and then he deletes the stream.
Right.
So nobody can go back
Yeah.
and check out who those creators were, see what their projects are. He just cuts them off at the knees, and he's like, "Nope, sorry, forget you." But and he deletes all his tweets. He's doing a contest again, some sort of fan
draw free art for my book.
That's basically pretty much what it is. Yeah, and
I get full rights to it.
he did something like that. He auctioned something off. It was basically, I think last time he did an auction of the fan art.
He sold off donated art. Art was sent to him for his use, and then he just sold it.
And then he just sold it. Yeah. He sold his fan art. It was just cheap. Just cheap.
But I don't think there's anything genuine. I don't think there's anything genuine about Tugg in terms of comic books, though. I don't think he's got any particular interest in it. It's just a grift. So if a better one came along, like if Space Aliens came back in and he could somehow flog stuff for that, he'd drop comic books like they're radioactive, I think. I don't think he's got any.
And the literary world would be safe once again.
Oh, it's funny because it's true.
All right, you got any more over there, Vicky?
No, not right now.
All right. I'll warm up with this one from yesterday. Let's see, whole bunch coming up from yesterday. Share audio. I got to make sure I click that.
Drop the receipts.
Exactly. So here, this was you and Ethan and Oz. All right. So Mike, you want to give me the blow by blow coming into this one?
Yes, I was quite hungover this morning, and as soon as EVS started talking, I was immediately bored. So I could not eviscerate him like I did Tugg. The Kiwi Farm seems to think I blew it, but Ethan's just so boring that I could not find anything to destroy him with.
Yeah.
It was just uncompelling at the very best. But I did ask that they drop the receipts.
Yeah.
And then I pretty much had to get out of the way because the trash fire was right. The best thing I could do, much like the devil himself, was to simply get out of the way. And I'm not Mecca McCheese.
Okay.
He is too handsome.
Memes are not the problem. The memes were never the problem.
I love opening on that one. The memes were never because he's going to go on to say, but you know, that part where you memed Anna about her dead sister and stuff, that part wasn't cool. But all those other times, that was fine.
Problem. They can make homosexual memes of all of us, and they will. I mean, that's just their sense of humor.
That's still wrong.
It was the fact that they got so very, very, very personal in a way that was...
Yeah, they got kind of personal that time. Before that...
Not like you didn't see this with Boyette Bukaki.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not personal.
Point out. Hey, I'm like, dude, aren't you like less than 3 weeks off of sharing my revenge porn? Like you're sitting here telling people that they got a little too personal.
While selling a children's book, Tugg did the same thing.
Yeah.
Was in my view inhumane and inexcusable to dig into the psychic pain of a young lady and piss all over.
That's like the best kind of pain. They dug into some psychic pain, and then they started pissing off stuff.
It reminds me of my favorite anime film, Akira.
I was just gonna say that I felt like this was anime.
Tetsuo Kaneda.
I'm like, I think this was like what are like the X-rated versions of the X-Men with Dark Phoenix, where she dug into psychic pain and then started pissing all over stuff.
Wolverine, bring me a cheese pizza.
That was a crazy episode.
Over it. make light of it, twist a dagger into that scar. And then when her friends came forward to say that wasn't right, those people were dogpiled. That was the line for me. The gay memes, the dildo memes, they can do those forever if they want to. I never had a problem with that stuff.
So the only line was really Anna.
No, not Anna in particular. The only line was making fun of somebody's dead relatives.
See,
when I like that person.
Yeah.
He skipped that part.
Yeah. Making fun of somebody's dead relatives when that person happens to be Anna. All the other times they've made fun of dead relatives, that's fine.
That's fine. The only line here is Anna.
Yeah. Taking a personal tragedy like that, I thought it was evil. If they had made fun of somebody who was close to you who had died, I would find that to be intolerable. I can't be a part of that. I can't. Part of the war campaign thing was these silly memes with rainbow dildos and miniature Mike S. Miller. They put me in makeup now and all that's all funny. I mean, that's all okay. I can't get past that one thing.
Well, they put Edwin Boyette in a
I know King Katie.
For Bukkake. They put Edwin Boyette in a Bukkake suit.
Well, they did do that, but I thought putting somebody's face on hardcore pornography, actual pornography, was just too much.
So, the memes were fine, and then like Oxball as well. What about the Bukkake Edwin Boyette meme? That one was over the line.
Fine with them until he's suddenly not fine with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only difference was Anna. They did the Boyette.
Yeah, I saw them do that to him on one occasion. But I mean, here's the thing. The other thing is, I see what I see, and I miss an awful lot of stuff. I am not omnipresent on the internet, nor am I really the police officer of the internet. It's not really my place to say.
No accountability.
Yeah,
ownership.
Ethan was all over that one. He was like, the things they did were disgusting and beyond the line, and something had to be done. What about these other disgusting things? Yeah, those were also bad, and yes, I did know about them. But what am I, the police of the internet?
I have a little blast from the past that is that's relevant.
Okay.
If
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
This bean lady. Now, I know she's frustrating sometimes. What is the appropriate number of months for her to have dildos put on her face?
Zero. Knock it off.
Right.
Zero.
There we go.
Yeah. See. Back then, during the Fall of Rome stream, before he brought Ro back into his bosom, it was 0. You're not frustrating, Bean. We love you.
I think Ethan's crowd and numbers can sometimes get a little confusing. Just like how they say they'll get you a book in 6 months and it becomes 18 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, he's a monomaniac. He's an obsessive. It's ridiculous for him to say he doesn't know it, all about it, because he is one of these people who just scours the internet every single day, searching his own name, doing all of that sort of nonsense to monitor every single reference, like the way he scuttles back to Kiwi Farms all the time. He is monomanic in the way he monitors his own online presence. He knows every single little fall of a leaf to do with War Campaign and his own followers. Of course he does. It's absurd for him to even claim he doesn't. And it's weird that he still compulsively lies about it like this. It's just so weird, so odd. But I really liked when the fireworks started between Pan and EVS, because I think a lot of truth got spilled unintentionally.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I got that one next.
I'm excited for that one. I've actually been waiting to watch it.
Okay. Share. All right. And
I heard he almost cries like a bitch.
Yeah, and here we get
no cuss word.
We get the great Mike Oxmall saying, "Drop the receipts." wait for it.
And I'm not a gay opera.
Oh, you want us to?
I love that open.
Gay opera.
Favorite of.
Prove it.
Pan, I don't get involved in gay ops.
All right.
Drop the receipts. Do it, war campaign. Do it.
Seems like it would be easy to prove them wrong on the "I'm not a gay opera." I mean, didn't they? All right, never mind. How many times?
Drop receipts. I don't get involved in gay ops, Pan, and you know that. You know that that's true.
What is all this shit? Why is everyone getting doxxed and you're just sitting there? Oh. It's all about Anna while your fucking customers are getting doxxed, bro. Fucking bitch. You're a bitch.
That's not fair,
Pan.
No, that's fair.
Time.
Pan, you've got to prove that I'm doxing my customers.
Keep my
I have not doxed. Pan, I don't know your sister. I don't know who your sister is. You're threatening me over your sister. I don't know who she is. You said I'm going to join her in business. I said, what is this about?
You're telling Charlie's London that I'm instructing people to
because there are people in my chat now who are saying very strange things right directly after you said that right after you said that you're going to raise the dead and march them upon me or some bullshit like that. What are you doing, Pan? Pan, what are you getting?
I love that this whole fight is happening against the comment of "It's just memes, bro."
Yeah,
up to?
I'm telling you,
Pan. What are you getting up to cover? What are you getting up to cover for what you said about Anna? What are you getting up to?
Whoa, brother!
Don't fuck with me about this bullshit. I had nothing to do with doxing you. I don't talk about your sister. No, you shut the fuck up, Pan. Fucking retard. You don't come in here and start talking as though Pan, you don't come in here and start talking and making accusations like this. You know they're not true. You know this isn't true. Why are you lying to people?
The accusation that Ethan doxes his customers as expressed by Pan because apparently all the war campaigners have been getting doxed over on Kiwi Farms, which Mr. Dongs has suggested that somebody on Kiwi Farms was seduced by Vicky's amazing voice, which may be the truth.
Which is sweet if it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. You've given me hours of entertainment.
You know this bullshit isn't true. People have you on Twitter. People have you on Twitter talking about death threats, making death threats to me about your sister.
That's not
to cover for Anna.
First off, it's not death threats. Second,
they look like death threats to me. I take them as death threats. You telling me that I'm going to go into business with your deceased sister?
Yeah.
What does that mean, Pan?
You are.
At what point? When am I going into business with your deceased sister? Explain what that means to me right now.
So that's that was the start of the tiff, and then it really you can start to hear Easton's voice go hoarse as this goes on. Any comments before we get started with the next one?
I
Keep
want
going.
to mention that
No,
the
please.
proof that he doxes his customers. That was proven before any of this war campaign shit.
Yeah, exactly.
He doxed, was it Bean in PA?
Yep, Bean in PA. I mean, going all the way back to Alfie Norris and Jeffrey Hartz, right?
That's the main one I know about is Bean in PA because they had requested like a bunch of copies of his dumb comic, and then asked for a refund.
Right.
And his response was basically to I forget exactly what it was. I know it involved doxing them, giving away their personal information to war campaign.
Is this the part where Brutus stabs Caesar? I retweeted a funny comment. Somebody said, "Where I watched the series on Caligula, it ended the same way."
When I was in the stream, I decided this is when I had to leave. It was much better without me, as we come to see you.
Where were you guys then?
Here we go.
You gonna let me explain it, you fat pussy?
No, because all your explanations are bullshit, man.
People like that one. Pan got him with the fat pussy. All right.
And
you won't even let me.
You guys gaslight everybody while you mistreat
No.
all of these people who meant well by you.
Well, I think some truth might be leaking out there.
He doesn't know what gaslighting means because it's what he does to other people.
Right.
Did well by you, Pan.
Oh God, shut up! Would you let me?
Comicsgates did right by War Campaign. We did.
Now, I always when they start throwing on the term Comicsgate, that's where I always have to wonder. Okay, what are they talking about? Because at this point, we got Ethan arguing with War Campaign, and they will both invoke something was good for Comicsgate or bad for Comicsgate. And I'm like, well, what are they meaning at that point?
Yeah, I don't remember you giving any permission for any of it.
Exactly. What? I'm like, I didn't license you people.
I can't wait for the first cease and desist letter.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for it anxiously.
Me too. The wheels of justice turn slowly. Here we go.
Did nice to you. I'm not near crying, asshole.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
And if it's really about your dead sister, why aren't you crying? Why are you coming in here so pissed off, making shit up about your sister and blaming me for it? Why aren't you crying, motherfucker?
Yeah, why am I crying and why aren't you crying?
Mocking
A lot of people, like, as this goes on, is like, is Ethan crying? Why is Ethan crying? Everybody seems to think that Ethan's crying here. A shame he turned his camera on.
her recent pain? Well, she's a girl, motherfucker. She's a girl.
Hey, relax.
That's who you guys are. You're somebody who make fun of the pain over the deceased relative of a 25-year-old girl.
Can you pause that for
and
just
you
a
come
second?
in.
As a woman who was once a 25-year-old girl, I must say that is the most insulting fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You're going after a girl. Have you seen her? Did anybody watch the glee in which she read Rizzy's docs off of Facebook? Did anybody see that? Because she can more than handle herself, and she should be allowed to handle herself. Just saying. It's insulting.
She's not a shrinking violet, is she?
She is not at all. And they're treating her like she's made of blown glass.
Yeah, and
we're not talking about a Jehovah's Witness in an ankle-length dress here.
No, not at all.
She uses her dead sister as a bludgeon.
She was using her to sell her book.
Yes.
You know, this is all in memory of my sister, the Rose, blah,
because she
blah, blah.
liked Vampirella so much.
It was all like the whole IGG was written about her sister and how you should buy the book to help her memorialize her and shit. So yeah.
That is some Tugg levels of business.
It really was. Anyway, you can
Tugg. Maybe she's Shug then.
Shug.
So Tugg, Bug, Lug. Now we got Shug.
She's Shug. Yeah, that's right, Cheyenne. She made fun of a baby with cancer and still has the cancer baby membership emoji on her YouTube channel.
Does she?
Yes.
So what was this cancer baby she was attending?
I should let Mecca McCheese come in here because he has a really good rundown on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell him to come in.
Okay. Easier to listen to too.
Yeah. So no, James, Anna's sister did pass away. She apparently killed herself.
Yeah.
Vampirella?
Before.
All of this because of Vampirella. Man, I don't see how it's worth it. Am I not supposed to make fun of the dead? Because I honestly just don't care either way. So I don't know this person.
Exactly.
This whole thing is so silly and nonsensical.
Yes.
And don't you love how the immoral grab morals when they need a quick shield?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
people who aren't just amoral but frequently immoral and just vile and abusive. And then
he's
suddenly
still
it's
guilty
like,
of fraud. He's
good,
still
good heavens,
fraud.
Good heavens! I've dropped my pince nez because you've referred to a deceased relative of mine who died over a year ago. I'll have to fan myself sufficiently now. Oh, good heavens!
He was so upset that they were making fun of a dead person that he accidentally messed up his fraudulent attempts to make his terrible comic. His comic's going to be delayed by another 6 months because of this.
It will be. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt it'll be the excuse.
But as we said before, a significant number of the simps in this findom system simply don't care. They just don't care that they're not getting it, or they're not getting it on time, or it's rubbish when they get it. They are not mentally well people, and they just sit there throwing coins at these people.
And I don't have any problem with that. In fact, if anything, I celebrate it. By all means, keep giving your money to Ethan so that he can never deliver the substandard product that you asked him for.
And look, I never had a hard time with that one. Grifter's got to grift. And look, it's one of the maxims of capitalism: a fool and his money, right? You know, you try and go, wait, no, fool, don't give your money to that person. That's foolish. But, you know, if you save them from one, they're just going to do it to another. So I don't
look, you could make the intangibles argument accountancy style. So you could say, look, they're paying for an intangible. They're clearly not paying for a physical book. They're paying for a feeling. They want to pay for the feeling. Mind your damn business, if that's what they want to do with their money. And that gets back to these people being carny grifters, like at a carnival. Nobody's throwing balls in a fixed can game to try and win a defective teddy bear. They're throwing balls at a can just to let out a bit of steam and have a bit of escapist fun at a creepy ass carnival. So if people want to waste money in this creepy ass carnival of EVS and Tugg, who are we to get in the way of that? But still, to be an objectivist about it, ethically, these guys are on pretty shaky ground.
Yes. And
well, when you tie making fun of babies with cancer into your monetization scheme,
right?
I don't think there's much more else that needs to be said about that Star Wars.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Anna, you know, granted, my plate was full of everybody else who was participating in the dog pile, but she participated in the revenge porn dog pile as well. With Preston victimized me at one point. What the hell did I ever do to you, woman? You know,
I could never find out what she meant by that.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever have. In fact, the strongest recollection I have from past things we've exchanged publicly on streams is you basically just said, "Oh, look, you know, good luck to her," kind of thing. Yeah. It wasn't like, you know, I'm going to do that bitch down if it's the last thing I ever do.
I have never said any cross words regarding Anna. Yeah. So, you know, prove me wrong, but I don't recall ever saying any cross words regarding Anna. So I don't know where the hell that one came. But I feel like there was like a memo because Lady Alchemy also jumped on the Preston did something bad to me. She made up something too. Like I shared pictures of intimate pictures of her and her family. Like, what, when, where would I have gotten them? Show me some receipts. Of course, she blocked me before she made that out. But lately, she deleted the last 9 months of videos off her channel. So I guess that's like an I'm sorry. I'm not sure. But
it's a blessing in disguise is what it is.
Haven't the War Campaign camp followers left War Campaign now, though? Like their female annex is reduced back to being
mommy.
I actually haven't paid much attention to the ladies.
I never do, but I mean they started doing that rubbish show, and
there were two different shows with two different groups of women. There were the Comicsgate women. Those are people like Mandy and a few others, and then there were
I think the thing with Anna was
War Campaign.
She wasn't going to let everyone else get all these views and laughter without her getting a piece of the pie. So she found something or made up something. And it's like, oh, I got a reason to dogpile Preston too.
Look, long term, because of her subscribers, her fandom, her well-trained contributors, her background at that arts college that It's got the new situationalists in it and all the rest of it. She is the existential threat to whatever you want to call the EVS version of CG. She is the one who can. I said it a year ago. She's the one who can come in and lead it. If she gets tired of what's left of the fandom menace collapsing in on itself, she's got the basic structure to be able to take over this parade of clowns fairly easily. And,
speaking of which, Jeremy got suspended today.
And in terms of sex appeal,
suspended on YouTube or suspended on Twitter?
Twitter. She's got the most sex appeal out of any of the females that they've got.
Yeah. Jeremy,
which isn't saying much.
Geeks and Gamers, Jeremy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, let's finish this
What
one.
an intellectual loss to Twitter that is.
Exactly.
I know.
All right, here we go.
With balls? You come in here with balls?
Yes. How dare you come in here with balls, man? You and your balls. Your fucking balls with this guy.
Like I had mine removed. I had mine removed years ago. How dare you, Pan, come in here with your fucking balls?
Rose got mine on his nightstand. How dare you have your own?
Trying to be this heavy Goomba and yell, and his voice is getting more and more shrill instead of deeper and deeper. Instead of a menacing growl, it's like, get him, girls. I mean, really.
People try to gaslight everyone and pretend that you're the victim. Victim campaign.
You gonna let me fucking talk?
Fuck you,
there's no sound
man.
playing, Preston.
Fuck you.
Oh, sorry. There's not?
No.
Oh, all right. Hold on. Oh, no, I got to redo it.
I was wondering why we had dead air earlier.
Oh, okay. Nobody. Let me do this again. Okay, Chrome tab. Gotta go here.
I heard it.
Yeah, I
heard it too. I think I proved that I'm not Mike Coxmall. He
Okay.
was just here. He sent me a message, said to get on here. So
okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I heard it just fine.
I heard it. I think it's just Mecca.
Yeah, I think Mecca has got some issues over here.
I got some issues for sure.
Yeah, they heard it in the chat when he said "victim campaign." That was a direct quote from the video.
I'm just silly.
All right, here we go.
Oh, you're gonna cry?
Pan, why aren't you crying? Why aren't you crying over the behavior that you've displayed to very innocent people who did you no wrong?
What have I done?
And what are you doing bringing up your sister? What, you've got to go a long way to blame me for the fact that you got doxxed.
That's where we Mike Oxmall just pulled the cord right there.
Nope, that's enough.
Bless that
I'm out of here, folks.
Kiwi Farms. I got doxxed on Kiwi Farms.
I got doxxed on Kiwi Farms.
Yeah, that needs to be a T-shirt that we sell.
Are you gonna cry about it?
No, you are. You're the one crying about it and blaming.
Yeah, but Pan
No,
keeps coming
you
back to
are.
that. Which actually, I mean, to Pan's credit, that's probably the best comeback.
I thought Pan did okay. I really did.
Yeah.
It's my family. I had nothing to do with that shit. You shut up.
You want me to explain? Okay, so what's going on is you tied Gat Hanzo to a bunch of bullshit that didn't have anything to do with him.
No, I didn't. I tied Kabir Kumar to a bunch of bullshit that he had 100% to do with. He liked a bunch of memes that were attacking Anna's poor dead sister, and you've got the balls to come in here. You find the fucking balls to come in here
again with the balls. You and the balls and coming in here.
Talk to me like this, you fucking redneck piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you, Pan. Fuck you.
So, so we got that
He
one.
used to be on their shows, on their streams, and would chant "Hail War Campaign." That's another thing. That's something that I think people might not know and aren't getting, is that these guys were partners in crime, essentially.
Yes.
Ethan was behind all of this shit. But now they're getting tired of Ethan because he's very tiresome. He's all so tiresome.
Well, he handed over his balls to Anna in a purse.
By the way, we have a request, Vicky.
I missed.
Mr. Dong says, Vicky, can you give a shout out to Smug Frieza?
Hello, Smug.
There we go.
Thank you so much for the hours of entertainment.
Frieza,
Pardon? I didn't hear you. What were you saying, Mecca? He's having some serious issues. I'm here.
Redo the thank you to Smug because it got talked over.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard a thank you to Smug.
Thank you so much, Smug.
Smug Frieza. From,
Frieza.
Kiwi Farms.
There we go. All right. Back to the clip.
I think you're
dude, it's about time somebody actually told you what was what, man. You're a bully. You're a rather unkind fellow. You are a bully.
You are a rather unkind fellow.
Not ungentlemanly. An ungentlemanly.
Is he working on the Charlie Chaplin book or what? Rather unkind fella.
A ruffian, I say.
Good sir.
Your victims are 25-year-old girls who lost their sister to a tragedy. And you're supporting them, and you're covering for the people who rub it. Yes, you are. You are covering for the people who rub that pain in. That psychic
I won't denounce them. Because I won't
psychic wound. I think you should fucking denounce them, Pan, like I've denounced you. I think you should denounce them.
So now,
so when do we denounce Tugg and his wife then?
Right,
Like, when does that happen?
Or Malin or Donald.
He's literally he's just copying off the things we've been saying about him specifically. He's never denounced War Campaign until just now when they go after him. Suddenly, everything they do has been bad. But he doesn't mention any of that.
No. And that was where, in that first clip I played, where Mike Oxmall was on, and he's like, well, yeah, but they put Edwin Boyette and Bukaki. But yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was bad. What am I, the internet cop? Come on.
He said it was funny. I was like, yeah, it was funny. Those are funny memes.
Right.
They aren't. But they're not even memes, and they're not funny memes either.
Whenever you boil it down, it always comes down to Ethan liked it until he didn't like it. And when he didn't like it, they were supposed to go, oh, never mind. We should.
For him, everything's on the table. He can attack anyone, his own customers. He can dox them.
Yeah.
He'll attack everybody else. But don't you dare say that he's not a good Christian. He's a way better Christian than Doug TeNapel.
Yeah. And yes, hello to all 101 people currently viewing this wonderful trash fire.
Trash fire, good.
Exactly.
You like that?
What to do on the internet?
I think you should tell some men. I think you should be a man and tell other men not to pick on 25-year-old women.
Should he be a man with balls?
He likes balls. The best driver likes balls.
You stupid fuck.
How do you know I have it?
You just said that you didn't. You're like, what am I? I'm supposed to tell people? Yes, you are. If you had an ounce of decency, Pan, you would tell. Do I sound like I'm gonna cry, motherfucker?
Yes.
Apparently, the resounding answer is yes.
Don't ask a question you don't want to hear the answer to.
Yeah. And it reminds me of Riff Tracks. There was a line from Roadhouse, and it's because the villain in Roadhouse, Todd Wesley, I want to say his name is, but he screams out to Jeff Healey at the Jeff Healey band during this one scene. All right, I want you to play something with balls, and the Riff Tracks was, that sounds painful.
A great movie, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
A very underrated movie, and a great riff tracks too.
Definitely.
You would tell your friends that what they're doing is wrong, but you don't, and you encourage them.
Again, a very surprising take from Ethan. Like, you need to come out, denounce people who are doing wrong things.
Every single thing he's saying is something he's guilty of. That he's now angry over other people about. There's a smarter way to say that, but I didn't like it.
You encourage them to do this.
How do you know I?
Why are you in here?
He encouraged people to do exactly this: flaggatry, doxing, and harassment.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is like coming 3 weeks off the Revenge Point thing targeting me, which Ethan was absolutely, he was retweeting, he was going on the Ethan Ralph show, he was broadcasting every possible opportunity. But now he's calling out War Campaign and Pan in specific here for not denouncing his brothers, which again, wasn't that the loyalty of Comicsgate? Wasn't that supposed to be their big virtue, was we're all loyal to each other?
It was not a great virtue.
Yeah, loyalty
when the loyalty is about protecting people who are committing crimes.
Right. Yeah. So again, this is where we see the problems with loyalty.
You wouldn't be in here with the balls to tell me some bullshit about your sister. You know I didn't do anything to your sister. You know I'm not involved in gay ops. Shut the fuck up, Pan.
Fuck you.
You're way behind the fucking 8-ball. You don't talk to me this way. And you know what? You do not talk.
You do not talk. That is that's the first honest thing Ethan has said so far. You don't talk to me that way. He's so egotistical because again, he called himself the leader of Comicsgate back in the day before there was a trademark. He really thinks he's the god. He doesn't just act like, oh, that Caesar name is something other people called me. He took that name for himself. And then he never let people forget that he was the Caesar of Comicsgate. Changed his fucking Twitter handle multiple times to different iterations of Caesar. He seriously believes he's the emperor of comic books.
Yeah.
Yep.
He can't stand that anyone else makes comic books without his permission. That's what he really hates about Tim Lim and Doug TenNapel and everybody else.
And I'm still seeing people, the Ethan defenders here have really been adopting the position of, but it was Ethan and they're making the only Nixon can go to China argument. Only Ethan can bring Marvel and DC low for their sins of putting out bad comic books.
Yeah, it wasn't COVID.
Right.
Right.
So, I don't know. All right, as I was playing, on my channel like a month ago, help us, Ethan Ben Skyper, you're our only hope.
To a 25-year-old girl, the way that you're talking, why don't you stand up?
Are you a 25-year-old girl?
Why don't you stand up? No, Pan, I'm a 45-year-old man, and that's somebody who's old enough to recognize when other men are wrong about some shit.
Oh, okay. All right. There we
go.
Yeah. So, Ethan, we in the future, we can come to you and go, I think these other men might be wrong about some shit. So.
You are wrong. You and your boys are wrong for what they're doing. Okay, and you know what? Listen. This is the consequence of all of that, Pan. This is the consequence. You are cut off.
now keep in mind, Pan is already banned from his chat. I mean, he's blocked on Twitter, but now he's cut off.
Yeah, exactly.
Now Ethan's gonna take his balls.
Yeah. You always wonder, what are the levels of being, in the shit house with Ethan?
Right, exactly.
No more comics for him. No more free issues of Cyberfrog for him.
Exactly. Look, you've gone from under the 8-ball to cut off. So
I think it was, it may have been Testify. When it Testify on a different stream, and Testify asked somebody, and it may have been Sketch, point blank, well, how many free comics has Ethan sent you? And he's like, Ethan, so how many have you just given to people? Which was like 0.
Right. That's gonna cost them money.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish this one off.
Off at the fucking knees. You're coming in here crying about Gat Hanzo and Rokavir Kumar. You guys are cut off at the knees because you don't have an ounce of humanity or decency.
But they got balls, so
Now, Ethan has chosen to ignore the fact that Pan is under criminal indictment for cyber stalking and threatening somebody. But now he's like the worst person ever, and he's cut off at the knees.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fortunately,
It's
he's
just crazy.
got the ball. All right. So next is the F bomb that left some reverberations going. I mean, look, I didn't think it was that big a deal. I mean, honestly, I was kind of ready to give Ethan a pass on this one, but some people had taken issue with Ethan dropping the F bomb.
Girl over the death of her sister.
Shut up for a
During
minute.
Pride Month.
Yeah, during Pride Month.
Why don't you just talk now, Pan?
Okay, good. You get it all out of your system, Ethan? Fucking pussy. All right.
Fuck you, you fucking faggot. Shut up.
All right. So, there it is. I don't know. I mean, is it that big a deal?
No, I don't give a shit if people say that word.
He always makes such a big deal about being the friend of the gays and all of this nonsense. He has made it a big deal because it's another example of his complete inconsistency.
And every time, there are a few DMs floating out there where he's used the word before, and he's always gone into pure denial about how they are photoshopped, but then he'll admit it and say, well, I was drunk. So there's always this excuse why he uses the word.
But the other thing is he uses it with a great deal of emotion, a lot of negative,
lots of vitriol behind that one word.
And venom. So you see, this is a word that for him has a lot of negative connotations and a lot of emotion attached to it. Almost as though he might be standing in the middle of a large river in Egypt.
There you go.
Yeah. You never go hard, T.
He doesn't want gays in his Star Wars. Well, that can't happen. All right.
Up. Shut the fuck up. Listen to you. Oh, you're a pussy.
Oh, you are a
Pan,
pussy.
just shut the fuck up
You're a
with your
huge fucking
bullshit.
pussy.
Shut the fuck up with your bullshit, Pan.
Fucking fake ass.
Go ahead and say whatever you want to say. But you know what, Pan? You know what? At the end of the day, when I saw a bunch of fucking bullies picking on a girl over the death of her sister, I stood up for her. And I pushed those friends aside. And I had to tell a bunch of people, I had to go through a bunch of grief over this shit. And I'm still going through this grief because of stuff that you did. And you didn't do that. You didn't do that, Pan. You couldn't find that within yourself.
You're going through grief.
No, I got to go through grief with you guys. I got to listen to this. I got to have you talking about your dead sister and how to keep your sister out of your mouth. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You sound mentally ill, dude. You sound like a lunatic. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. But you're sending me weird, creepy shit. And frankly, people...
Pan sending someone weird, creepy shit? I love this comment from the chat. It's a shame because God, I gotta find it. But individually, Ethan is easily breakable like a tiny twig. But together with War Campaign, they can be bound together to one huge F. So
fascist Victorial. That was actually the Roman Empire's official their logo or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah,
a bundle of sticks bundled together makes them unbreakable.
I can only Ethan's mascara dropping into his eyes as he says that. Yeah.
Ethan is an absolute bundle of sticks. I'll say
this
it
happened
right now.
This happened on Oz's channel, right?
Yes.
This is the most interesting his content has ever gotten. And I've only watched like 5 minutes of his content, but it is definitely the most...
He's tried to light the fire a few times, but because of the other people he had on, like Micah stares into the distance, raising one of his morbidly obese arms, Curtis, and people like that. it doesn't zing. But when you get nitro and glycerin and you put them together like Pan and EVS,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, Oz is the one that's been goading Liam.
Yes.
So, every time Liam is like, I don't know if I want to do YouTube, and I'm not really here for the drama. All I'm trying to do is bring people together. And Oz is like, well, why don't you continue bringing people together? It's what you want to do. So that there's more of these, drama shit streams from Liam's channel, which got Liam into a bunch of hot water.
Yeah, well, it got him
without Liam.
Of course, it got him into hot water, dude. He's running from Anonymous. Jesus, like what an asshole! He had like no regard for people's safety. Oz, that guy.
All right, here we go.
Had enough of it.
You're Mark Wade. Bro.
People have no. I'm Ethan Van Sciver, the guy who beat Mark Wade.
No, you're
okay.
Mark
Yes, I am.
Wade,
I'm Ethan Van.
I love that.
Where was that coming from?
You're
all ridiculous claims.
That's what happens when you have balls. You can just claim people, new people. Like.
What are they even referring to about beating Mark Wade?
Who knows?
Yeah, let's listen to that part again. Let's see.
Frankly, people have had enough of it.
You're Mark Wade. Bro.
People have no. I'm Ethan Van Sciver, the guy who beat Mark Wade.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I wonder if he's just referring to the amount of money that his book made.
Wade doesn't self-publish.
I know.
Like he invented a marathon. He ran 5 feet. And he's like, I could beat everybody else in the world in this marathon.
It could also have to do with the Meyer suit.
I still think that's kayfabe.
Because there's some talk that, Ethan's the one that basically pushed Richard into filing the suit against Mark Wade.
EVS
and Mark
and the quartering, apparently, of all people.
Yeah, and so Mark Wade, I don't think he made a whole lot of money crowdfunding for the lawsuit, so he's paying for this out of his own pocket, whereas Richard has been able to pay for his legal fees out of the GoFundMe set up by Ethan.
Well, Myers got the Patreon set back up too.
Yeah, and he's making a lot of money on Patreon per month.
Yeah, he is.
Too. So, that's my guess as to what he's actually talking about.
How bizarre.
Hmm.
But
yeah,
you see, he was very flustered and genuinely emotional at this point. So, although what he's saying is probably still very deceptive, it's at least coming from his inner script, how he defines himself. So
a man without balls.
Well, you can underline
that
a few
too.
things just because of the sheer repetition, and then the things like I beat Mark Wade. He's trying to shore up his own ego in this conflict that he's having. He expected to be able to squash Pan like a bug, and this is a bug that isn't prepared to be squashed. So now he's starting to throw things out in an expostulatory way, which are part of his, as I said, his own inner script. Like, I beat Mark Wade, I did this, I did that. So it's fascinating to see if that's going to evolve into a new narrative in the future. Probably not, because this was such a disaster, he'll probably just walk away from it. But it shows how he creates his mythology for himself. And when he had War Campaign, they would pick it up quickly. But now that he doesn't have War Campaign, there's no one to pick it up. So you just get these weird, stray, random firings that just look so odd.
Yeah,
Yes, I am. I'm Ethan Van Sciver.
You canceled CD
I am
Projekt.
Ethan Van Sciver. I didn't cancel shit. You guys did. You guys did. Your own boys walked away from you. Tyler walked away from you. Steve Dye walked away from you.
Really losing his voice.
Yeah.
His voice is absolutely gone at this point.
Yeah.
He's not crying. You're crying.
Maybe he needs some sarsaparilla.
Right. I really feel like we're down to the part of the breakup where it's like I faked every orgasm. Like, guys, the only reason Gat's staying with you is out of loyalty. He screwed himself there. He'd go with me otherwise. Like it's. Sorry to see you like this. Oh boy.
Artists walked away from you because of your behavior.
Because you fucking scared the shit
I didn't do anything. All I did was say I'm not going to be supporting. All I did was walk away too. I walked away too.
You call me a bully. You're the biggest bully in the game.
I walked away too, and it's not my fault. It's not my fault that when I walked away from you because of you picking on Anna's dead sister.
Bro, I broke up with you on your own channel. You
did.
Well, he broke up with him. I think we are close to the faking orgasm.
It's really not like I'm part of the relationship where I faked everywhere I have.
Practically already stated at this point.
Yeah, you know what's really difficult, and I was telling somebody earlier, is there's a bit of cognitive dissonance here for me listening to Pan and Ethan go at it, because I'm like rooting for both sides and hating them and realizing that how much bullshit it is all at the same time, because Pan actually does have a point here that Ethan did bully creators into bailing on the CG Jumpstart book. He did.
Yeah.
And you know, Ethan's gonna say, no, it's all because they just don't like you. No, it's because they still want to be platformed on Ethan's much larger channel. Right? Because
they haven't broken 1,000 on D Live.
No, they haven't. Have they even broken 800 yet?
I think they're at like 857 or something.
Yeah. And that took them a really long time to get to. At one point, they were buying subs on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, you know, so the people who did bail on CG Jumpstart did it so that Ethan would still support them,
right? Which
in the hopes that they'd get on his stream someday.
CG Jump Ship.
Yeah,
that's what it so quickly became. Cover artist was like, "I'm not in Comicsgate. What are you talking about?"
I'm not
Yeah.
working, man. I just did the cover for them.
Huerta. I'm not. I was never War Campaign. Yeah, Huerta. Right.
And now I'm a person of color.
Yeah.
Well, he's always been a person of color. He's actually such an asshole that he's been booted from Twitter numerous times. So he's on like the third or fourth account since I first saw him on Twitter.
I'm on my third or fourth account.
I'm on my first.
I have 4. None of them been banned.
Well, it looks like you guys aren't assholes, apparently.
I'm ready for it. Let's go.
You did what? You broke up with me? What the fuck are you talking about? You lunatic, you broke up with me?
Like a girl.
Hey, don't call him a girl. He has balls.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Like,
wasn't that the stream you were on, Mecca? When you went on Ethan's stream? Was that the same stream that Pan dumped Ethan on?
Oh,
or
no,
was that the one
after.
before? That was the day before.
Yeah. I was part of the mixture of the fuel that exploded. Definitely.
Yeah. Good work.
What the fuck is the matter with you? What are you talking about?
It's on YouTube. It's on your fucking channel. I told you, War Campaign was done with you. We didn't like your lies.
So, and that ending to me sounds pretty clearly like we didn't like your lies. So that's what
they liked his lies until they didn't like his lies.
Exactly. His lies were pretty good until the point where they
were bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like with Ethan, where I loved the memes. I was all cool with attacking the dead relatives until I didn't like it anymore. Yeah. Huerta is WC, not CG. Okay. All right. So maybe that's the identity permutation. Is that Huerta is War Campaign, but War Campaign's got to be. I mean, look, they're CG only, so that doesn't quite work out.
Yes,
Ro
but
explained that on their post-split stream. In fact, remember he did that perverse little diagram where there's circles and War Campaign, and it's like you can be of the flesh and not of the word, but you cannot be of the word and not be of the flesh kind of bullshit.
Right.
Just endless refinements. It's just so much like Operation Hummingbird when the Sturmabteilung were purged and replaced by the SS by Hitler, and then Hitler gets up and makes this speech saying good heavens, it was so shocking what we discovered about what the stormtroopers were doing. None of us had any idea when we were watching them do it for the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. But now that we discovered it, we crushed them and threw them out of our movement to replace them with the SS. And it's the same sort of nonsense here. Or it's like Trotskyists and Stalinists. Like Vicky said, she doesn't want either of them to win. Like they're arguing over these nice points about vile abuse of innocent people. And it's okay sometimes, but not other times. None of them take the correct ethical or moral stand of just saying it's always wrong.
Right.
I do have one that I pulled down from Kiwi Farms. I don't know if you have it. But the The resolution's not very good, so let me go ahead and I'll pull that up.
Well, resolution
Who's selling the Cult Gang shirts?
Huh?
Yeah, CG Cult Gang. That's one of their other
Cult Gang. All right, I haven't listened.
The video resolution doesn't matter when it's a bunch of icons, right?
Yeah, that's true. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet because I pulled it down right before we started. So.
Assholes
you just
like
wish you were on the laughing end of it again.
Oh, by the way, this is Testify, of course, down in the lower left. The weirdo that kept saying normies over on, on the lower right. Oh, whatever his name was, Tweetless or Twitless or something like that.
It was on the stream this morning, actually.
God, that was boring as all get out too.
Oh yeah,
so,
I tuned out of that one real quick.
Yeah, me too. I was like, bye.
Okay, so here we go.
You know who did all your dirty work before?
Ethan Van White.
Skeletons are in the closet. Stop whining like a little fucking baby.
Guys,
you know the truth, Ethan.
Writing at a guy who's actually successful.
Shut up,
in
you
Comicsgates
fucking
and
yes,
building this
I'm gonna
fucking
call
movement.
this. Yeah, I'm
And
gonna
you
call
two
the
pussy bitch on D-Life. You guys are irrelevant. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Okay? He's building
Fuck
this.
you.
Go call the
EVSKW.
He's responsible for making Marvel irrelevant. All right?
people
What
have
the
had
fuck
enough,
do you
guys.
do?
People have had enough. You can
Ethan, I'm
talk
gonna
shit.
suck on your penis.
You
People have had enough.
Hey,
People
Ethan,
have had
shit
enough.
online.
People have had enough of you guys.
Everybody's had
No.
enough of you,
I'm not gonna cry.
EVSKW.
You almost did.
No.
Just like
How
me.
many times have you
No.
done this to people now?
You're both criers.
Well,
I
people, and the truth of the matter is,
They really
Wild.
are though. Malin and Ethan are both criers.
You got super chat now, Preston?
You had a super chat,
I got a
Preston.
super chat. This is my first
Yay!
super chat, so I'm going to take a minute and recognize Janice over there. So, thank you so very much. And yes, I know people missed last week comics. Look, I've been doing a lot of other things. I've been putting the wiki together. I've been just leading other elements of my life. Like I've been researching this role-playing game for some friends of mine, you know, and I guess I've been enjoying. What I'm saying is I'm enjoying my time off, but I probably will get back to that here pretty soon. So, but hopefully the clip stream, which requires a lot less prep, will be entertaining.
It is more entertaining, I think. I think everybody enjoys it a lot.
Oh, good.
So let's keep going.
is that well? You can do it. You can feel however
You're a
you
liar.
want.
You're
You
a
can
liar.
say whatever you want to
How
say.
many
But
times
people have had enough of you, and it's reflected.
You're a
It's-
fucking liar.
It's reflected in the sales of your comics. Your future as war campaign
I don't sell
is
comics.
pretty much over. It's pretty much
Wow,
over.
wow, really?
People are
Because
tired of you.
You think you can kill a war campaign? You can't kill a war campaign. You
I
fat
did
fuck.
already. I
Your
Yes.
fucking face, bro.
War Campaign was only around because
We're
of
gonna be in
EVS.
your ass for years,
Who the
bro.
fuck gives a fuck about War Campaign?
Who the fuck's
Where did you
well-read
guys have a
user
forum
one?
other than on his
can't
channel?
kill war
Guys,
Hey Oz, why don't we play the video
You think
from
you
your
brought
thing
in
at
tons of
EVSKW's little
guys,
budget
you,
report
you
here?
lost your way. Guys, you lost your way. You don't get to say that. You don't get to say that. You do not get to say. No, you're not. You're Pan. You're a guy.
I
You're
bought
not
all
the
the
consumer.
dingy books, you fat fuck.
I don't give a shit. You are-
Can you imagine?
I love because Pan's like, wait, I'm a consumer. You're supposed to respect the consumer. You're like, here's one guy. It's like, I bought all your books. Yeah, who gives a shit? You're not important.
Pan has spent a lot of money on Comicsgate books.
Yeah.
I've
Well, a lot of
seen.
War Campaign have. I mean, that was part of the training up.
Yeah,
Right.
I haven't been following, but which way did Jack Straw break? Was he loyal to his war campaign?
But I want to say yes. I think he's still WC.
Yeah, and
It's
by the
so
way,
hard to keep track of all of them because,
it
like,
is.
you know, the divorce was incredibly messy.
Well, can you imagine Jack Straw with his 70 EVS books?
Oh my gosh, did you ever see SoCal's Cyberfrog collection.
No.
He had original art. He had bought the uncut sheets of trading cards. I mean, if there was a piece of merch that Ethan was selling, he bought it, and it had to have been at least $10,000 worth of stuff between all of the books and the original art and everything else. And he split and sided with War Campaign. So that's a big whale for Ethan to lose. So and I think he's kind of representative of what War Campaign has been doing. These are all guys that are most of them have money. They're in their 40s, you know, somewhere around there. Pan's got all that family money. Obviously, SoCal's got money. I think he lives in freaking Long Beach or something. So they were spending a lot of money on Ethan. And I think that's where some of the Tugg money came from. Why Tugg's book did so well was because instead of spending money on Ethan, some of them refunded and they were spreading that love around a little bit more. But yeah. And I don't think there's much more interesting on this clip.
Yeah. Mr. Dog says, I discussed this in the odd stream with CG intellectuals testified Dark Gift and Smiling Bandito. And they told me that CG only does not mean Comicsgate only. So it's okay if Huerta makes the cover. There we go.
Then what is CG only supposed to stand for?
They know how Comicsgaters and words are. They're like
comic script only. I mean,
we can just make up whatever we want if that's the case. If they don't even know, we can make something up. We'll call them comic script then.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, the CG was supposed to stand for something, right? I mean, wasn't that the whole point? Ethan still calls himself Comicsgate.
They still think they're going to get the trademark back. I mean, they never had it to begin with, but they still think to this day that somehow you're going to lose the trademark because they don't like you. That's the only reason they have for thinking that. Like, I don't like Kristen.
Yeah. CG only is a brand like Make Mine Marvel. Don't bring up Indicron. Okay, yeah.
Which was one of the biggest mistakes they made, was going CG only. I thought so at the time. And
it also
they all agree in retrospect, by the way.
Well, yeah, and that was where it was weird. Is for Huerta, when Huerta was like, I'm not Comicsgate, I'm like, bitch, you did a CG only book, therefore, by definition, you must have been.
Nobody that's not CG works on that book.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't want to call himself CG now because he's getting, somebody pointed out to that he's doing. Yeah,
Magic of the Coast or something.
Wizards of the Coast. He's doing cards and stuff for them and art, and so he's having to say, "But I'm not CG," in order to try to save his other job. You know, got to keep that money rolling in.
Do you think there are genuine receipts?
There are. There's plenty of receipts.
I mean, there's receipts in lots of other hands. I got sent a lot back in the day. Lots of other people have collected them. Vicky, of course, but. They're just occasionally, when they're having their silly, effeminate arguments, it strays into the territory of one of them saying to the other, you know, I've still got a king and a jack I can play, kind of thing. And then the other one, rather than saying, put them down, I'll pay to see that, put the cards down. Instead of that, they sort of veer off. And it's that veering off that makes me think there is definitely something damaging. Like the, you're behind the 8 ball shriek.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, you are behind the 8 ball in a specific way. Now, that could be the court case.
Yeah.
But they
I can answer this question. Where's Huerta's book? It's never. And yes, Watsy is
never
be a company. So yeah, Huerta is in danger there. But yeah, that behind the 8 ball comment struck me as really strange. I'm like, like it seemed like if this was in the writer's stream, I would say I don't like this line. Like, why is this character saying this line? Like all of a sudden it's like he's talking out of like Jimmy Cagney out of a 40s movie. You're behind the 8 ball, see?
I was behind the 8 ball once. But then I was strung out and doing hookers. So,
See,
totally joking.
It's so incongruous, and he's such a vindictive, nasty sort of person that he would only say that kind of thing for a specific reason. So he has some sort of receipt, he thinks, on Pan, or probably because Ro's in collusion with EVS still, because they go back a lot further than they both pretended. Maybe that's the kill switch. But it sounds like a kill switch scenario. And War Campaign surely must have the few missing pieces of the puzzle that would really firm up the argument that it was EVS directing the persecution against people.
By the way, they did this off of Twitter. This stream brought to you by balls.
Nice, Jake. Nice.
I love that guarana drink.
And Deep Fox, Jude, do you think Preston and them will one day grow more than 2 brain cells, or Ethan and them, to realize not to air their dirty laundry? On YouTube, no, they will not, because this is how they have all decided to make their money.
45 years old. He hasn't learned that yet.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to learn.
No, they will never figure it out. Ethan actually likes to direct and produce his live streams. When he used to do those live streams with all sorts of people on them, he doesn't do them quite the same way anymore. But he would actually tell people what they were allowed to talk about backstage, what they were not allowed to talk about, what they were going to talk about on stream, and pretty much like, this is how you're supposed to react to it. I mean, so he was directing a lot of those early live streams pretty closely.
Right.
So no, Ethan will never figure that out, because it's part of, it's like with Tugg, right? Every time Tugg sells his book, it's just drama. Well, for Ethan, it's the same thing. It's the drama.
Tugg's the guy who Tugg's coming out with a comic. He didn't write it and he didn't draw it.
Right.
Is that the guy?
That's the guy.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, because they're being attacked. It's not that they're attacking other people. It's Ethan's being attacked. Tugg's being attacked. And by selling that, they sell books.
No, well, the thing is Tugg's getting attacked so often that he needs other people to write his book. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, he's got to hold his child up as a shield. It's a lot of weight, and it's hard to carry around all the time.
Who called my daughter a whore?
Nobody.
I want everybody to be absolutely certain about this. I called his daughter a loser. She's like 4 years old. I don't know anything about his daughter, but I knew it would piss him off because he's insecure, and it worked.
Anna used her sister as a marketing ploy. Ethan used her as a shield, and WC used her as a weapon. They all suck. Very true.
Very true.
So, pretty good turnout for
the
clip stream. We should do this more often. You know what? Ethan should have a meltdown every week, and that would be pretty convenient.
That'd be so
That would be so awesome. But there's always more to find.
Yeah.
There is always more to find. So tomorrow, everybody, I will be putting up a poll for the new best new WC Spurg award. So check my Twitter in the morning and be sure to vote and share, and vote often with all your alts.
And tomorrow I will be dancing on a pole because a man's got to eat.
There you go.
Too bad you're on the other side of the country. I'd like to see that.
Yeah. All right. And writer stream tomorrow at 8 p.m. on this channel. And then next week on this channel, we're going to have the pitching stream. So that'll be fun. Yay.
Actual comic work.
Yeah, actual comic.
At some point, this is actually coming back around to making comics.
Yeah. And that's... I've been thinking of maybe doing like a show of A Tale of Two Comicsgates, where I talk about a little bit Ethan drama and a little bit of what we got going on with like the wiki and the contest and promotions and stuff. You know.
That would actually be covering all the bases at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to admit, for me, the comics or the drama gate, I guess, if we're going to call it, we're not going to call it that. But I mean, old War Campaign and all those people, a lot of that, I can only take so much of that. I can only go so far before I gag.
Yep. Yeah, and so maybe it's
I'll definitely be there. I want to be here for the writers' room stream. I got another 10 pages of script I could finally present.
Fantastic! Yay! We like it.
Looking forward to it.
All right.
And what did you think of my friend John's pages last week with the vampire thing?
Oh yeah. Wait. Yeah. Last week I wasn't there.
Oh, all right. Well, you missed out because John has been working on that screenplay for a while, and I think he may want to enter the contest too. So we'd have like an LA screenwriter. When I say LA screenwriter, I'm talking about like Adam Friendless kind of level, but still, we're making comic books, so it's somewhat some stiff competition throwing his hat in the ring.
Yeah, I think that's in my watch later on my YouTube watch later list. So yeah, I get to my watch later list at completely random times. So yeah, I have to listen to that later. But yeah, I started doing some more writing lately, and I also started writing down another idea. I'm trying to finish uploading the character to the web Comicsgate trademark wiki.
Is that Flame Strand? Fire
Yeah,
Strand?
Flame
Strand? Flame Strand.
Yeah. All right.
Very, very cool.
All right.
Cool. So I will see everyone tomorrow for the writer's stream. I'm sure I'll have just as many viewers that time around.
All right.
All right, everyone. I'll
Night,
see you later.
everyone.
This has been Press and Culture, Pocket Jacks Comics. Thank you very much for your time, everyone. Take care.